Welcome to Whores Talk Horror.
We're not really whores. We just like wordplay.
Hello and welcome to Whores Talk Horror. I'm Sharon.
And I'm Melinda, and this is our October Tidbits of Terror episode.
Tidbits of terror, terror tidbits, tidbits of terror, terror tidbits, rawr, 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 rawr.
Thank you, MTV Video Music Award winner Carrie Weeder, for our Tidbits theme. I mean, seriously, is there nothing this woman can't do? Jeez. Well, guys, it's October, and each passing day means we're one more day closer to Halloween. Yay!
Bittersweet to me.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point, but it's also very exciting. And what would Tidbits in October be without some Mike Flanagan news? Sad. That's what it would be.
Then we're going to get a little festive for the holiday season and share some spooky stories.
We're going to check in with Sharon for an update on how her annual 31 horror movie marathon is going. And you know what? Let's just dive right in with the Flan Man news.
Yeah, I can't really remember the last Tidbits episode that we did not talk about Mike Flanagan. But yeah, we're going to talk about the new Mike Flanagan series that was announced, and it's not the Midnight Club. It has been a couple of weeks since this news came out, so you may all be aware about the new series by now. But if you're not, here is the scoop. Flanagan tweeted on October 6th, quote, "I'm so excited about this series. It is like nothing else we've ever done. More to come very soon," end quote. Cannot wait to hear more details. But the series he's talking about is the Edgar Allan Poe inspired limited series titled The Fall of the House of Usher. Once again, he is teaming up with Netflix to create this new limited drama. The Fall of the House of Usher is a short story written by Poe and was first published in 1839. It features themes of madness, family, isolation, and identity. We all know that Flanagan is a master at telling stories with all of those themes, and also a genius when it comes to adapting books or novellas to the screen. So even though there's no plot details available at this time, there's no doubt in my mind that this will be another heartbreakingly beautiful and also terrifying tale about the human experience, as is Hill House and Bly Manor and Midnight Mass,
which I've not yet watched, but I'm going to get to it. The only reason I didn't watch it is because I've been at my parents' house and their cable went out while I was there.
You know what? I think you need to emotionally prepare for it, so take your time.
Yeah, that's what you said, so thank you for that tip, Sharon.
But what we do know about this new series is that Flanagan will create it. He is also going to co-direct and executive produce the series along with his Intrepid Pictures partner, Trevor Macy, as well as Emmy Grinwis and Michael Fiumignari. Apologies if I mispronounce any of those names.
It looks Italian. You have to say Fiumignari.
Michael Fiumignari. Intrepid Pictures, Melinda Nishioka. Also, apologies if I mispronounce that. They will co-executive produce the project. Fiumignari and Flanagan will each direct 4 of the 8 episodes. No word on when the series will be available to watch. I'm sure it's still in like early pre-production stages. But in the meantime, you know, I'm still processing Midnight Mass, which I'm sure if you've all seen it, you're probably still processing that as well. I'm definitely going to have to do a rewatch at some point after Mindy watches it, and hopefully we'll have a bigger discussion on it. Maybe we'll make it a Patreon exclusive so that, you know, we don't spoil it for anyone, or maybe we'll be nice and we'll put it on Patreon, but we'll open it up to everyone. We haven't decided yet. But also, we have the Midnight Club due out next year, maybe as early as spring. No official date has been set yet, but we have enough to tide us over before The Fall of the House of Usher comes out. So hang tight, everyone, because we got a lot more Mike Flanagan filmmaking to look forward to. So awesome.
Yeah, I wonder if this one will be more of a direct adaptation, like of the source material, because the other two, you know.
Yeah, he took him in another direction.
Yeah, they weren't straight up adaptations. It would be interesting to see what he does with the direct one.
Who knows? But whatever he gives us is going to be wonderful. So
I was going to say, or this is the one that like is not very high attention to detail, but I don't see that ever happening with Mike Flanagan because he goes big or goes home.
Never.
And if he does, we'll just call him out on it.
All right, Mindy. So you have some news that just came out. Once again, the thing that sucks about tidbits is sometimes we have to record these, and by the time they actually become available for you all to listen to, it's kind of old news already. But, we're hoping that a lot of you maybe haven't heard this stuff yet. Or if you have, maybe we'll have some information that you weren't aware of. So, Mindy, tell us about this next exciting news.
Well, to be fair, I actually hadn't heard about this, and Sharon was the one who told me. So thanks for Sharon for telling me.
Well, I have to thank Nathan, who I follow on Instagram at The Shape of Horror. He actually was like, "You've heard about this, right?" And I was like, "No." So thank you, Nathan.
Yeah, it was weird that I feel like there wasn't a whole lot available yet, but I think you'll understand why. And what are we talking about, of course? The Zodiac Killer may have finally been identified. Well, we'll find out. This comes directly from CNN.com, Yahoo.com, and Deadline.com. Law enforcement agencies said that they are still investigating the Zodiac Killer case as an independent group of cold case investigators came forward Wednesday, October 6th of this year, to claim they had solved the mystery of who is behind the decades-old serial murders. The Casebreakers, a team of 40 former law enforcement investigators, said they identified the man they believe is the Zodiac Killer using new physical and forensic evidence and information from eyewitnesses, according to a press release. The group also filed court affidavits and secured decades of pictures from the man's former darkroom, Casebreaker said. They named the man in the release to be Gary Francis Post, who passed away in 2018. Just as a quick refresher, in case any of you don't somehow know, the Zodiac Killer is believed to be responsible for at least 5 murders in Northern California from 1968 to 1969, and then much, much more, many believe. In response to the new claims, the San Francisco Police Department confirmed to CNN that, quote, "We are unable to speak to potential suspects as this is still an open investigation," unquote. The FBI, which has been supporting local law enforcement in this investigation, also did not acknowledge the claims. The Zodiac Killer case remains open. We have no new information to share at this moment, the FBI said in a statement. So nobody's saying shit, basically. The Casebreakers also said in the release that the same man is responsible for the 1966 killing of Sherry Jo Bates in Riverside County, California. While the Riverside Police Department could not comment on the man identified by the Casebreakers, Riverside Public Police Public Info Officer Ryan Railsback said the Zodiac Killer is definitely not the person responsible for the death of Bates. Quote, "The only link the Bates murder had in common with the Zodiac Killer was a handwritten letter received in the mail claiming responsibility." Not much else has been said on what all the Casebreakers have as evidence, but in 2020, a trio of code breakers claimed to have decoded one of the Zodiac's messages, which is referred to as the 340 cipher. Do you want to know what the cipher said?
Yes.
No.
Shut up. I want to know.
So the following was originally sent in all capital letters without any punctuation and included the misspelling of the word paradise. So this is what it said. "I hope you are having lots of fun in trying to catch me. That wasn't me on the TV show, which brings up a point about me. I am not afraid of the gas chamber because it will send me to paradise all the sooner. Because I now have enough slaves to work for me where everyone else has nothing when they reach paradise, so they are afraid of death. I am not afraid of death because I know that my new life will be an easy one in paradise death. That was hard to read because, again, no punctuation whatsoever.
Also, paradise is spelled Paradice.
Right, like
Yeah, and when I saw that in there, I actually fixed them earlier. Then I realized, oh no, wait, it's supposed to be wrong, so I fixed it back.
like a pair of dice that you play with. Get it?
That's how it's spelled. Well,
Yeah.
sort of.
The FYI, the TV show that the message refers to is the Jim Dunbar Show, a Bay Area television talk show. The cipher was sent 2 weeks after a person claiming to be the Zodiac Killer called into that show. So regardless, the official story to this day is that the Zodiac Killer has never been caught or identified, but we'll keep our eyes out for further developments. FYI, if anyone's interested in how the cipher was decoded, check out ZodiacKillerCiphers.com, where the codebreakers have video demonstrations on how they decoded the 340 cipher that I just read very awkwardly. The link will, of course, be in our show notes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I have an article that I want to read titled Couple Unknowingly Buy Bargain House Before Discovering Its Chilling Past.
Yikes.
This is the perfect news story for Halloween month. This comes from The Mirror. When Danielle Witt began the hunt for her dream home with partner Ben Rocky Harris, she says the intensely competitive market felt like a contact sport. Having witnessed actual fights almost break out at open houses, the couple jumped at an opportunity for a nice, affordable home that they stumbled upon in Maryland. Danielle did background research on some of the building work that had been done on the property, and the couple decided to put in an offer. They said the 3-bedroom house was going cheap, and it was on the market for $377,000, more than $50,000 below its value, due to previous interested buyers bailing out of the deal. That is kind of a red flag to me.
Right?
But hey, they decided to put in an offer, and a few days afterwards, they were delighted to learn that their offer had been accepted. But when Danielle decided to Google their new neighborhood to find out more about where they would be living, she screamed, in quotes, so literally, I guess, screamed when the results popped up. Anyone know where I'm going with this yet?
I'm guessing death or ghosts.
The couple quickly discovered their new home had an infamous past as the property where a Catholic priest had performed an exorcism on a teenage boy, and the event had inspired the 1971 novel and 1973 movie, The Exorcist.
Shut up. Oh my God.
Right? Can you imagine that you just bought a house from The Exorcist?
Welcome home.
An article in the Washington Post reported the exorcism that took place in 1949 with the headline, Priest Frees Mount Rainier Boy Reportedly Held in the Devil's Grip, with the article stating that after 20 to 30 performances of the exorcism, the devil was finally cast out of the boy. It said ministers witnessed furniture sliding across the floor and the teen yelling and cursing in Latin phrases. Danielle told NPR, honestly, the first thing I thought of was, oh God, this is going to tank our resale value. And the next thought I had was, maybe I better rewatch that and start learning more about what it is that we just bought. Thankfully, Danielle had not been put off by their new home's haunted past, saying that she is knowledgeable about the occult and believes demons haunt people, not properties. Ben is also embracing the history, adding, I'm thinking I'm going to get a Catholic priest Halloween costume this year and get an amplified speaker and have the Exorcist soundtrack just playing on a loop on the front porch for trick-or-treaters.
Wow.
Own that shit.
Right? That's awesome. That's probably what I would do too. And also, I kind of want to go trick-or-treating at that house now.
Yeah.
That's like the woman in North Bend who
Yes.
who does the Nadine thing at her house.
That's
She plays
awesome.
along.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And opens and shuts her curtains. Danielle and Ben's new home is different from the one featured for the external shots of the house that were used in the Exorcist film, which is in nearby Washington, D.C. And although they're relaxed about its past, they aren't willing to tempt fate as Danielle turned down a friend's offer to bring over a Ouija board to recreate the scene from the film. That was good thinking, Danielle. Do
Right?
not do that. She said, the last time someone did that, they made a movie about my house.
They sound awesome, actually.
They really do. We will actually have to maybe take a road trip out that way because I want to see the Amityville house. Is that
Yes.
still there?
It is, but it looks differently. They've remodeled it, so it doesn't have the iconic windows because it was too much of a giveaway and they were getting too much traffic. But my cousin used to live in New York, and he's been by there before they remodeled it, so he knows where it is. We'll get the address.
Yeah, there's a lot of things on the East Coast that I want to see. But yeah, DC to see the Exorcist house, the real one and the one that was used in the film, Amityville, and yeah, there's a few other places that I want to see out that way. But
Wow,
that's
crazy.
yeah, so I guess lesson is if you buy a house that's going for way below resale value, do some homework before you put an offer in.
Yeah, right? Like, you're right. That would be my first question. What's wrong? Where's the catch? But
Right. Who was murdered in this home and or what sort of water damage, mold damage, like what is going on with my house?
yeah, exactly. Well, best of luck.
I'm kind of surprised it wasn't already owned by somebody who was a big fan of the movie.
Yeah.
There are people who will buy houses just because they're a fan of something.
That is true. Like Nick Cage buying the most haunted house in New Orleans.
That's awesome.
That's crazy and scary. Thank you, Sharon.
Speaking of scary, you know what I think is scary?
What?
Clowns.
Well, have I got a story for you? I am genuinely shocked that more folks aren't talking about this story, but it's also rather appropriate for Halloween month, so I wanted to share. The incident actually took place in Singapore, and it was reported on by Vice.com late last month, so September 2021, but it's still worth sharing. And here's the headline from the Vice.com article. Quote, "Company apologizes for sending clowns to schools and terrifying parents," unquote.
This sounds like an Onion article.
Right? That was exactly what I thought, Spencer. That's why I was like, I have to talk about this because it's not.
And I don't know this story. I just saw the headline "Send in the Clowns" that you had written down. So, but yeah, I'm not a big fan of clowns, so please tell me.
Yeah, let's jump right in. So, Singaporean Lin Wong panicked when she arrived to pick up her daughter Anne from school and received alarmed messages from other parents referring to police alerts about, quote, "persons dressed as clowns seen loitering around primary schools," unquote, as one text said. Wong was running late, and when she didn't see Anne waiting for her, she checked her phone, opened Facebook, and saw a flurry of social media posts circulating in parent groups showing pictures of men dressed up as clowns approaching children in uniform. Some messages alleged that some clowns paid children to follow them. Quote.
What?
Yeah, right?
Are there any pictures of these clowns?
Yeah, you can Google them, which we'll post, obviously. Wong said, quote, "Clowns are terrifying even to adults. This is any parent's worst fear. What if they turned out to be psychopaths and murderers wanting to harm children," unquote.
Or pedophiles? Or, oh my God.
Right.
Seriously.
The sighting
It is not good to be a clown right now.
Was it ever a good time to be a clown? I mean, to be fair.
right.
Besides Bozo.
Back in the day, I think it was pretty good.
Even that's arguable. The sightings took place on a Monday afternoon outside primary schools in the eastern part of the island city-state, prompting a frenzied search for answers in a country with some of the lowest crime rates in the world. The Vice article said that parents were particularly on edge, get this, due to a rare but violent incident at a school just this past July in which a 13-year-old was allegedly killed by another student with an axe.
My God.
Yeah, and that's a whole other story, and I looked briefly into that, and it's true, but I can understand how tensions would be already running high is all I'm saying. But yeah, crazy axe murder at a Singapore school. Back to the clowns. Singapore police said they received multiple reports about clown sightings, and one screenshot circulating on social media showed a tall man wearing clown makeup and dressed in a plaid shirt staring down students near a bus stop outside of school.
Fuck that.
So, any guesses what the deal was with the clowns, guys?
Was a circus coming to town and they were trying to do some advertising? I don't know.
That would have been a much more logical explanation than what actually happened, in my opinion.
Okay.
A private education center named Speech Academy Asia stepped forward to apologize and take responsibility. Its director, Kevin Tan, said the clowns were part of a marketing campaign to promote speech and enrichment classes.
How?
Right? And here's their statement.
Because when you think of, eloquent speaking and enrichment classes, you automatically think clown.
I know. This is what they had to say. Okay. So, and then we can dissect. Quote, "There was no evil intention behind the costumes, and we sincerely apologize for it," Tan said. "We will not do it again."
I want to know if Tan is a horror movie fan.
Right? The group also published a public apology on its Facebook page and clarified that their employees did not offer any form of monetary rewards for children to follow them and did not take any children out of the vicinity. This is an understatement, but worst marketing campaign ever. The company's statement added, "We truly understand your concern for the safety of your children. Hence, we will be putting an immediate stop to our road shows." Do they understand, though, I wonder? Because that's the only explanation we get from them. So I'm also wondering who's the asshole who was like, you know what would be a great way to promote our services? We could send clowns to other schools to chase kids over to our academy. What the fuck, man? Anyway, Lin Wong, the mom from the beginning of the story, was quoted saying what we're all thinking. Quote, who in the world would think hiring men dressed up as clowns to confront children would be a good idea, unquote. Indeed. By the way, Wong was eventually reunited with her daughter, Anne. Thankfully, the school kept teachers and students indoors amid all the confusion.
I was worried the clown got her.
Well, that confusion, again, being scary-ass clowns randomly hanging around schools and school bus routes. So ultimately, no one was hurt, at least physically. But this story astounded me because, let's be honest, we've all seen ads that are annoying or commercials that make no sense or sometimes barely hint at what's actually being advertised. But this has to be hands down the worst marketing idea I've literally ever seen or heard of. And I mean, I've seen some dumbass marketing campaigns in my day job, not naming any names. But when you're dealing with children, I feel like it's pretty universal that you have to proceed with caution. So forget the clown part, like just sending random dudes to hang out and try and like convince kids to come over to the Speech Academy Asia. No, that's alone a bad idea, let alone clowns. I don't know. But yeah, weirder things have happened, I guess.
It literally sounded to me like Mindy did a mic drop. I don't know if that's gonna come through the
mic
the
drop,
recording.
I'm out.
Mindy's out on her rant about clowns.
That's my hard stance on clowns, folks.
I might have hit my earbuds that are plugged into the computer.
I really hope the recording got it, though.
So I'm wondering, did this place go out of business? Because obviously, like, it was such a stupid idea. Like, who would even want to send their kids to enrichment classes? Like, what are they going to be enriched in? Stupidity?
Right. I know. I've not. This just happened over the summer, so I didn't go researching the company to see if they're still in business. But I find it hard to believe. I mean, they're going to have to change their name, probably, totally redo everything, because no one's going to want to send anybody there, I would imagine, after this.
Yeah.
They're kind of done.
All right. Well, good luck to that company.
Right. I know.
Interesting.
I mean, really, what was the thought process there? Did they not have a meeting to discuss this idea and had to be approved by probably 12 people or something?
That's what I keep trying to think about.
It's kind of impressive.
I can't. It's like I can't fathom it. It's kind of fascinating.
I don't know.
Anyway.
Well, anyway, if any of those people have issues with clowns later in adult life, they know exactly where to pinpoint it.
Right? Oh my God.
It's not a laughing matter, though.
No, they need to offer free therapy to those children.
And parents probably who are losing their shit.
All right. Well,
Moving
let's
on.
end this episode with some of the movies I've been watching this month. Every year I try and do 31 days of horror, and I am on number 10 so far.
After 9 days.
After 9 days, I'm going to be doing a little bit of traveling this month, so I got to kind of double up on some of these days here so I can get at least all 31 in. Every year I try and do movies that I've never seen before, so all these films are first watches for me. I'll just go in order. Started with Slumber Party Massacre 2.
This is in order. First movie, start off October.
I just, I had to watch it. I was listening to the Who's There, a podcast about horror fans. Allison, the host of the show, she was talking to a guest, and they were talking about Slumber Party Massacre 2. And I was very, very intrigued. I do like the first one a lot. And I heard that this one was just like balls to the wall, like just wild and out there. So, it did not disappoint for sure. Anyone who listens to the show regularly knows that I love my cheesy 80s horror movies, and this is right up there with the best of them. The story follows the first film, but it is completely different than the first film. It follows one of the survivors of the first film, but it's played by a different actress. It's played by actress Crystal Bernard from the TV show Wings.
Oh.
And the killer is a like Elvis Presley type rockabilly musician who sings these kind of like swoony ballads, and he has a drill on the top of his guitar that he uses to kill his victims. And is he real? Is he a ghost? Why is this the killer? I have so many questions, but after the movie was over, Spencer said, and I quote, "This is the greatest movie I've ever seen," end quote.
This movie is kind of amazing. I don't know. It knows what it's doing. It's making fun of itself and all of those movies. This movie is, if it were made seriously, it wouldn't have ever been made, because that's how ridiculous it is, and the lines that people say. So it has to be made on purpose as a statement. Now, I think the first one was kind of like that, and I think it probably did a better job. I honestly don't really remember it that well. But this movie was just ridiculous fun, and that's really all it's supposed to be. I do actually have a story about this movie.
Okay.
Which I didn't even know what my story was about until we saw this movie, or which movie it was. And that was the whole point. I had been trying to find a movie based on one scene that I saw, literally a 10-second scene. I had seen when I was a kid on some talk show, the host was asking the actress, or they said, "Oh, this was your first role." And they showed a clip of this woman's first role, and it was the scene with the pimple. If you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
So I had been wondering what movie was this that had this scene, and I could not find it. For years, I was trying to find it because I wanted to see what ridiculousness this was. But the other thing was, I actually thought it was Julia Louis-Dreyfus who was the actress. So I had but can you imagine if she was in that role?
Interesting. Yep.
Anyway.
She is definitely not in this movie. But yeah, great fun. If you love cheesy 80s horror, definitely check this out if you've never seen it.
There's a lot of metaphors going on.
It's definitely, it's a satire for sure. The next movie I saw is Jugface, which is the perfect length for a horror movie. It was less than an hour and a half.
Oh.
It's what I would call hillbilly horror. It was very strange, and it was kind of like a creepy folk tale involving these people who, they're kind of isolated, living in the woods. They have their own little community, and they have this well that they have to make sacrifices to. And this man who lives with them, he makes these jugs, and he doesn't really, I think, I'm trying to remember all this now. He doesn't really remember making the jugs, but when he makes them, the jugs will have a face on them, and that face is the next person in the community that they have to sacrifice to this well.
Oh, shit.
Or the well will just start killing people randomly. What? It's interesting.
So he's being possessed to make the faces on these jugs?
Yes.
This has popped up on my you should watch this list quite a bit. And so I was really curious about it when you said you'd watched it. Would you recommend it, or was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's, it wasn't my favorite, but I definitely think it's worth a watch. It's different and it's interesting. And like I said, it's, a pretty short film. So it's definitely something you can, watch if you don't have a ton of time. Next up on the list, number 3, Freddy vs. Jason. Finally sat down and watched it.
And
you know what? This was horrible. I love shitty horror movies, but this one I was bored, and I was expecting a lot more fighting between Freddy and Jason, and it wasn't until the end of the film where they really got down and dirty with each other.
Oh, that's disappointing.
I was disappointed.
Is there fan fiction of Freddy and Jason getting down? There must be.
Oh,
right?
I'm sure there's tons.
Oh boy.
Number 4, newer film, which I won't say a lot about because we will cover this at the end of the year in our 2021 horror movie roundup. But I watched Bingo Hell. It was a fun film.
Okay.
Like I said, we'll get into it more later in a future episode. Number 5, The Clove Hitch Killer, which is basically kind of a reimagining of BTK. Very similar to BTK, but altered a bit. But I liked it. It was, a good serial killer film if you're into that. Not very gory, but a lot of tension and very well acted. Number 6, There's Someone Inside Your House, which just came out on Netflix this week.
This is the one I have the book of.
Yes. Actually, okay, so this is another one we'll be covering in a future episode on our 2021 horror movie roundup. And I'm curious, after you watch this, Mindy, to hear how it compares to the book. I thought this one started out strong, and it reminded me a lot of a modern day Scream.
Yeah.
I was a little disappointed with the ending, though, so I want to hear how it ended in the book.
Kind of the same way, honestly. The book started
did you watch this?
No. But the book started out strong and then kind of petered a little bit. So, but I just added it to my list because it just came out. So cool. Good to know.
Number 7, I watched Picnic at Hanging Rock, which is a lot different than I thought it would be.
Which one did you watch?
I watched the one that was made in 1975, I think it came out.
Okay, yeah, I've seen that one.
Yeah, it was very beautiful. I mean, the whole movie kind of looked like a Victorian painting. Mm-hmm. It was creepy. I wouldn't actually call it a horror movie.
Yeah.
It was more of a mystery, but I'm glad I finally watched it because we mentioned this in our Valentine's episode, I think earlier this year, because it takes place on Valentine's Day. Next up at number 8, we watched The Voices finally, which I don't know why I've been putting this one off for a while, but oh my God.
I forgot about it.
This movie is so good.
For
Ryan
real?
Reynolds, Anna Kendrick, serial killer whose cat and dog both talk to him. The cat's like the devil on his shoulder. The dog is like the angel on his shoulder.
Oh.
It's described on IMDb as a comedy, a horror, a drama, a love story.
Wait. I can read literally what the Just Watch app says.
Oh, there we go.
Dude, this was the funniest thing when I read it. Fantasy, horror, romance, mystery, thriller, drama, comedy, crime.
With a musical number at the end.
So it literally covers all bases.
Right. And it even had an animated opening title sequence.
Holy shit. Wow.
It was fucking great. If you haven't seen The Voices, definitely watch The Voices.
The rating is kind of low, but I really enjoyed it. I mean, it is, just watch it.
I've been putting it off too for some reason, but okay, now you've convinced me.
Number 9, we watched Angel for the first time, which is another serial killer film. And this was on Joe Bob Briggs' Halloween Hoedown. If you listen to one of our previous episodes from, I think it was our tidbits in September, when I took a stab at guessing what his films would be for Halloween Hoedown,
You were wrong.
Yeah, I was totally wrong.
Aw.
I guessed House of a Thousand Corpses and The Devil's Rejects, but it was Angel followed by Terror Train.
Oh, nice.
Angel was a first watch for me, and I honestly never even heard of it. I love this movie so much, though.
Wow.
It is, they were calling it an exploitation film, which it was. It had like a lot of elements of that, but I also thought it was like pretty dramatic and
Yep.
well written and well acted, and like I just love this movie. I kind of want to rewatch it, but not, you know, in that format of like Joe Bob's
Broken up.
All broken up. I just kind of want to watch it all in one sitting. And great film. If you haven't seen it, check out Angel. Finally, I just watched this last night. Ghost Stories.
Wait, can we be honest for a second? You had to finish it this morning.
Okay, yeah. I started it pretty late last night and we had a long day. So I watched the last 20 minutes this morning. But
Is this the British one with the... Well, I don't want to say too much, but with...
Yes, the British one with Martin Freeman.
Yeah, I own this, actually.
Oh, have you seen it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I bought the
Oh, okay.
Blu-ray. I like it.
I like it a lot.
Yeah.
The first 2 Ghost Stories were really scary. Like, I've been waiting for a while to watch another ghost story movie or paranormal movie that kind of had the same scares and tension that I experienced watching, you know, The Conjuring and The Conjuring 2. And this delivered. The ending was a lot different than I was expecting. I won't really go into it, but
Yeah.
I, you know, would totally watch it just for the first 2 ghost stories alone because they were really, really good. They delivered.
Is it an anthology?
Yep.
No, it's not an anthology. It is about a guy who investigates paranormal stories because he tries to debunk them.
It's kind
And-
of an anthology, though. Not, I mean, because it does have like the different
there's a
stories have
thread
there's a thread.
Throughout of all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a bigger thread than like a VHS type of movie.
Yes, which I just watched the new VHS movie last night, and
You're welcome for that segue.
I obviously will talk about this at the end of the year, but I'm kind of like, why does this series exist again? Like, because
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the first VHS. I think out of all of them, there was only one story that I liked, and I hadn't seen the second one.
I have, and I literally don't remember it. But I was like, I said to the person I was watching it with, I was like, I don't. There's just like no through line at all. Like these are just VHS stories that we're watching.
The novelty of the whole thing has worn away, I feel.
Well, I find the whole franchise kind of confusing because there's no. I don't understand what these tapes are and why we should care, I guess.
Yeah, it's just excuses for people to be able to, you know, make horror shorts and practice their craft. And I mean, it's an interesting concept and it's good for that. But yeah, there's always like one that's really good and the other ones are just like, okay. But I think it's a really good thing for young filmmakers, especially.
That's true. That's a good point. And this one's, I'll just say it's interesting. I'm going to leave it at that.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest found footage person, and I've not heard good things about it outside of your review of it. So I think I'm going to pass on this one. But
Sorry,
yeah,
guys.
thanks for confirming that it's, you know,
And it
not
was like
great.
a New York Times pick of the week or something, too.
Maybe
which
it was a slow week.
It's all relative, isn't it?
I guess. Jesus. Anyway, I don't know. Maybe someone will like it. If you like it, feel free to write us and tell us what you like about it.
All right. Well, I have 21 more movies to watch to hit my
Tonight?
goal. Not tonight, but to
All
hit my goal
tonight.
for the month. So yeah, if you have any recommendations of films for me to watch, send them my way. You can DM me on Instagram. You can send us an email at whorestalkhorror@gmail.com. Thank you all for listening to us. And as always, you can write to us with any episode ideas, any ghost stories, true crime stories, creepy stories. If you know who the Zodiac killer really is, let us know, before the FBI, because obviously we're more important.
Right.
No, I'm just kidding.
That's true.
But yeah, if you've ever moved into a house that had a film made after it, because
And a book made after it.
yeah, let us know.
Please also subscribe to us, rate and review us on whatever your streaming platform of choice happens to be, because it does help us get more exposure, which helps us to keep doing the show, and we like that. If you're able to, please join our Patreon and get early access to episodes, see exclusive posts, and maybe even get some cool shit via carrier pigeon or, the post office. Please be kind to each other, be safe, and as always, thanks for getting creepy with us.
Sharon, do you want a beer?
Oh my God.